Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. This is Motorsport Manager episode number 31, and this is it. This is it for the season, final race. This is it for the series as well. It's going to be the final race. I said series, not, that name of somebody responding to my iPhone. Anyway, I have decided to call it quits. This game has been out for 6 years now and does not have the popularity that it once had. We're going to go out and run a banker lap for each of these guys and do so quickly. Let them do it themselves, get a time in. So we've got something, and then we'll go from there. I don't expect any rain through the course of this race. Vern might have his lap compromised a little bit there. What looked like a Haas. And we are slowest so far, but at least we're ahead of Kubica and Ericsson. And even though this is going to be that last race, and this is the last game that has been one of the debut games on this channel, one of the first 10 from the very beginning. Of course, we've switched to the Fire Fantasy mod 31 episodes ago, but beyond that, this is it. This is that last original game. So we keep growing and evolving here with the channel, and it's time to move on. Looks like Vern and Verstappen very much near the back, looking like Q1 elimination. But we have everything to race for here in this final race of the season. Lap times, minute 30. We need to have more than 2 minutes to get out in time. So I think we're going to go at about 2:45 and then 2:30 respectively for the two drivers. Why don't we go ahead and send Vern out first. And then we'll send out Verstappen at about 2:30. Get the maximum grip that we can get. Oh, please tell me I put on fresh tires. Did I put on fresh tires? Alright, so we follow along with Verstappen. A lot of maximum speed stuff here early on to get the tires up to temperature, and then at that point it's going to be managing the brakes and the heat in the tires. A lot of 90 degrees turns here in Doha we've got to deal with. Tire temps are good at this point, so we can kind of start backing off a little bit. A lot of traffic though for Verstappen. This could be a really bad thing. Tire temps perfect, brakes are overheated, and yes, we did put on fresh tires for Sean-Eric Vern. But there it is, right in the middle of traffic with a Williams, who at least we're able to outrace, because that's exactly what we have everything to race for. We are currently 10th in the Constructors. Our objective for the season was 9th, and it is Williams who is in 10th as Ericsson moves up from last to 21st. Verstappen looking a little bit quicker here on his second run, and that's despite all this traffic that he is caught up in, this nasty traffic. I'm worried about that, but Vern is very slow, very off the pace. I don't think Vern's going to be moving up on his time at all, at least not from the looks of it. Vern's heading around front stretch now and does not change his time. Verstappen, quicker through the first two sectors. He's up about 0.2 on Vern through there. Oh, he improves his time, but he does not improve his... Oh, he does improve his position. He gets ahead of Kubica, and Kubica alone. All that traffic is definitely because of his dilemma and why he wasn't able to get a little bit further up, or at least we would hope that's what it is. But in the meantime, Wickens, out of nowhere, ends up 9th quickest on his final lap. Apparently that was Kubica that was nearby to us and ended up behind us on his lap and didn't gain any time. Wickens must have found some clean air, and Wickens goes from, what was he, like 20th up to 9th. just 3 points separate Williams and myself. And so we're going to be focusing heavily on a head-to-head with them for the race. Kubica has the weakest car other than Verne in the field. And then we have the next weakest car with Verstappen. So 22 and 24 are where we sit. Actually, no, it's not Kubica who's 23rd. I believe it's Ericsson's car, the Alfa Romeo. The Williams car is definitely better than our car. We just have the better drivers and better management. And that's been kind of the deciding factor often in races where we make up ground and pass those guys up. We take better bonuses, better tactics, and move our way up the grid a bit. And we'll have to hope on that today, especially with a potential high race position for Wickens. If we're lucky here, he'll stay in 17th, and he does. Okay, so Wickens' good Q1 showing does not get replicated in Q2, and he is eliminated. Of course, it would almost be a good thing if he did make, like, say, P12, as he would then have to have the extra pit stop guaranteed without really having any extra pace. So our pole shootout here in Q3, the Red Bulls, the Renaults, the Ferraris, and the Mercedes duking it out with one Haas, one Racing Point, and one McLaren, as well as Leclerc in the Toro Rosso. And it is Hamilton who is going to claim pole on this one with his teammate just in 4th place, and is by 2 milliseconds ahead of Valtteri Bottas, his former teammate. And with that, we're going to be ready to begin our final race of the season. We're going for the one-stopper. These tires aren't a given that they'll make it that distance. We're also going to hope that there is some sort of safety car somewhere, and maybe we can flip strategies. We're going to use the Super Softs. It is a 65-lap race, and you'll see here in a moment what we expect to get out of these tires is about 38 laps, and we're going to need to get about 33 out of them, so that should be relatively comfortable to make the one-stopper work. Neither car is perfect, but we'll take 98%. Hope for a good start today. I think we're going to need it if we're going to be able to beat Williams in this race. Especially with Wickens being a handful of places above us on the grid. 5 red lights. And Verstappen does get a good start. He's up to P20 already. He's got a bit of a run, but that's 3 wide ahead of him, so he's got nowhere to go. But he does squeeze his way into that 3 wide as one car moves clear and is up to 19th now. He's got a run possibly on the Alfa Romeo as well. And meanwhile, Verne following Verstappen through well. Yes, Cassidy is behind us, but Verne is the next car on the order. Both Wickens and Kubica are behind us, 22nd and 23rd. Slow start from them could be huge for us in the long term of this race. Meanwhile, Wickens is on the ultra soft tire, so Wickens is going to have a 2-stopper no matter what. So already we're 1 pit stop ahead of Wickens, and we're ahead on track. If we can keep him behind us, certainly he will not be able to grab points. Then it'll come down to whether we can get 3 points on the day. 1 for 15, 2 for 14. So if we can get 14th and 15th, that's enough, or max up to 13th. Right now we go side by side. Tires are already starting to heat up, but they're still below our happy zone as Max has a look to the inside of the McLaren and goes up to 18th. No, he can't make it stick. Signs that Honda engine a little bit more powerful than ours, and he pulls back ahead. Meanwhile, you got Wickens making his way back through. Kubica needs to drive a little more defensively and keep him behind. There we go. I think I said Kubica. I meant Verne. And we do. So Verstappen and Vern, and then Wickens and Kubica. The most ideal thing that could possibly happen right now at this exact moment, not later in the race necessarily, but right now, is Kubica and Wickens coming together. Having damage, having a penalty, flat spotting, or straight up. Oh! Verstappen locks up. Oh, nice move. They get around Sainz there. Back up into 18th. Lap 3, and the tires have hit that happy zone. I'm going to have to back off, otherwise they're going to really heat up quickly here. Vern with a lockup. Oof. Sainz with a big lockup there. There's just way too much traffic here. I think we need to back off for a little bit. Save our tires, save our fuel for a better time frame. Right now, we're just bunched up and not actually going anywhere. I mean, Verstappen right up on Vern's gearbox there, and then right up on Ericsson's. And I don't know what Ericsson is doing in front of us. How did he get around? Ericsson should be right near the back. Well, I guess he did start right in front of us, didn't he? He had a decent qualifying. And Ricciardo into the pits. There is the first. And he's got a penalty. And somehow he comes out in oh, that's right, the pit stop here. You get to cut out corners 1, 2, 3, and come out at 4 on this track. So you actually gain back a lot of what you lose in the pits. So it's not the worst pit delta out there. Alright, so currently P17, P20. Grosjean trying to make a move. Not sure where the Haas car ended up behind us. But he's been in front of us the whole time. Maybe I got distracted with what was going on with Ricciardo. And we successfully defend. Letting Verstappen do it right now on his own merit. It's getting us back into the positive on fuel. And it's keeping the tires in the happy zone. But Verstappen really, really slow there through 1 and 2. But he's going to come back at Grosjean and actually open the door for Vern to make a move as well. But Vern gets right up on the gearbox, and the power difference between the Ferrari engine there and the Haas versus us is quite evident. So we sit 17-19 still. We're going to speed up just a little bit here. And there goes the Haas. Power difference was just too much. He is on the soft compound, so that does slow him down, kind of backs him up to us. Sainz, meanwhile, is on the ultra soft, so sucks to be him right now. Same with Wickens, where those guys are way at the back, and Verstappen on his own merits gets around the Haas again down the front stretch. He gets a really good exit on the final turn, and then out drag races the Haas and moves back up a spot. Sainz locks up. He keeps having a lot of problems. Vern now caught up in the middle of the Williams. Kubica is ahead of him, but Wickens a couple spots down. Wickens is the one to watch out for because Wickens has a much, much better car. I'm not even sure Kubica has had a point all season. So don't worry about him getting up there. I do worry about Wickens getting up there. So as long as Vern can keep him behind, and Vern actually gets around Kubica, so back up into 20th, that's good for us. We're also back into the green on our fuel load. Field hasn't opened up that much. Hamilton, Glock are running 1-2. Hamilton's got about a 7-second lead. Remember, Glock started from 4th, so I don't know when he made the move. This is the first I've actually looked at the top order of the standings. But Bottas down to 3, Hülkenberg in 4, Vettel all the way down to 5 after starting from 3rd. Gasly 6, and then Norris and Verline up there. Wow, look at those two. Those guys are having a nice race. So one McLaren's up there at least. And Ricciardo into the pits. He's finally going to fix the problem that occurred when he had his drive-through penalty. So whatever collision he had there. Finally in to fix. And he comes out on ultra sauce. But he's looking at a couple more pits today. It's only lap 8. I don't think he'll, unless he comes out on the soft compound, I don't think Ricciardo's going to get there with just one more stop. It's probably going to take 2 more. So Ricciardo's day is ruined in the Renault. And Max is up to 16th, while Jean-Eric is up to 19th. And here comes the Haas coming back at us. But Max just answers right back. What a racer he is. So Wickens moves back up the order a little bit. He's now in front of his teammate, in front of Kubica, and he's going to make a move here on Verne, knocking Verne back to 20th for now. So hopefully Verne, let's maybe push for a little bit. Let's try to get you ahead of Wickens. There you go. There's a nice move. Make it stick. Make it stick. Too many right-handers in a row. Here comes the left-hander finally. Squeezes him out, takes the position. Back up to 19th. Okay, go back into our basic fuel save as he actually moves up another spot up to 18th. Nice, still had a little momentum. And so that's P16, P18 now. Still, tight contest ahead of us. Field very bunched up. 8th place is not far away. Even 7th is not that far. Front 6 have pulled away a little bit, but definitely from 8th back to 23rd, really, outside of Ricardo. The field is still very, very bunched up. Looks like running neutral. The tires are not experiencing any overheating. They've been holding steady since we backed off from our push. Here on lap number 12 now. The fuel is that one part that is going the right direction, though. And we're comfortably holding our positions. Fairly comfortably. We're threatened more behind when we're running neutral like this than we are from in front, but we're saving up a lot of fuel for a rainy day when we need it to make a push, like with Verne. Drops to 20th, and then we push, and all of a sudden he's up to 18th. But Wickens has made a move to get around Sainz. So Wickens up to 19th now. And Magnussen into the pits. First of the top 12 to make a stop. Magnussen comes out in the Haas on the Super Softs, but he comes out still all the way up in 12th place. Wow, I thought we were closer together than that. I'm going to speed things up a little bit more for a little while. Let's speed through a few laps here. There's a pit stop. No, there's not. Somebody spun out or something. Somebody's behind us that wasn't. Or not. We're still 16, 18. I thought I saw our positions flash and change. They have it. Leclerc pits. He comes out ahead. Ocon pits. He's out ahead. Stroll pits. He's going to come out behind. Okay, lap 17. Let's go times 4 for a little bit now. Ferrari in the pits. It's Vettel. Vettel's going to come out in 6th place. He only drops 1 position. Was the gap that big? Must have been. Meanwhile, the race leader Hamilton is closing up on the back end of the field already, so the front runners at least, have stretched out a lot in the last little while. It's going to put us a lap down, and that's going to give us the opportunity to turn the engine up for just about the rest of the race. Verstappen has some space in front of him. Let's start closing down that space. Let's bring it up behind Ericsson, who's now 2.5 seconds clear. Stroll in between Verne and Wickens. That's good. That's going to put Wickens back a little bit. And Verne making a move. And he's up to 16th. And yes, he is. He is up to 16th. Now, we're going to go back to neutral for Verne because the best thing he could do right now is back those 4 cars up. Slow them down even further. Kubica has dropped off the back, so he's not keeping pace with us. Cassidy, Perez dropping further back. They're definitely on one-stop strategies, though, and they're going to be pitting quite a bit later than we are. It's lap 20, just about to 1/3 of the race completed. And we need to get to halfway, though, before we pit. So Verstappen making a push for track position right now. He's still pushing on the engine mode. And he's opened up 2.5 seconds to Vern. And is kind of right where he was with Ericsson, actually, to be honest. And that's in the Alpha. And that's on the soft compound. And that's with Rosberg right in front of him. Where did those two find some pace today? We're not racing those guys for anything, but Verline all the way up in 8th, that actually could be a little bit of a problem for us. If Verline and Rosberg are both high up in the points, I don't know how much they need to catch us from behind, but that could be dangerous. We could be racing more than just the Williams in this race. 3 seconds separating, so Verstappen continues to open that gap a little bit. 34% for Vern, so he's going to have to pit before too long. But it's only lap 24, and we need to get to 32 at least. Vern going backwards. Ricciardo's made his way through. Grosjean's gone back ahead of him. And he's got the worn tires. But he does have that spare fuel. Let's give him a little push to try to not keep dropping. I want to give him a chance to stay in position. I mean, it would be nice if he could get a point on the day as well. Not that he does that very often. Okay, lap 27. Okay, let's go back to neutral. Verstappen made a good push. He's actually lost a little bit of ground in front of him, but he did open that pretty good gap behind. 22% for Vern, and it's only lap 29. This is what I was worried about. We're going to have to go over a little bit for him. Verstappen's going to make it, no problem. Vern not reaching the mark very well. We're definitely not going to go on the soft compound where we have no bonus and would be very slow. Remember, he is in the slowest car, so I have to take the risk here. He's got to get to lap 32 before he can pit. 17%. Pace, still not that bad, even though he's dropped off the cliff. So he is now 8 seconds behind Verstappen, though, so gap is definitely widening. Okay, this is lap 32. Technically, we're not yet halfway, but he's about to get lapped. And no wonder. He's just not as good on tire wear as Max is. Good attack with what he's got left. Well, 14% of it. Raikkonen also pitting. Same strategy for him. Oh, but he's going to come out on the ultra soft, so he will not go the distance with that compound. And here we go, Vern, into the pits. It's a good stop. And he comes out with lots of fuel to burn in P19. Again, not major losses at all from these pit stops. Where are you now? You have half a lap to go. Attack. Let's push for our in-lap. Max from P15. He's made it past the halfway point, so... And not gone off the cliff, so this is good. He's going to pit from P15. But looking behind us, every single one of those cars outside of Vern will have to pit again. So Max's current P15 might hold. And then in front of us, we'll see how many of those guys are going to need to pit again. But Max is going to definitely go backward a little bit after this pit stop. It's a good stop. It's a good stop. Comes out right in front of the race leader, Lewis Hamilton. Sorry, Lewis. That's going to give us 1.5 laps worth of fuel. So P17, Vern P19. Stroll's ahead of us by 3 seconds. Grosjean has not pit yet. Will pit soon. Ericsson, Rosberg need to pit. Leclerc will pit again. Raikkonen will pit again. Magnussen, Ocon. Not one car in front of us is going to go the distance, except for now Lando Norris, who just pit. So Lando Norris, besides Verstappen and Vern, are the first cars on track that are ready to go the distance. This is good for our race. This is really good for our race. Let's go times 4 speed. I'm sure Hamilton will make his way around shortly. Grosjean pits and is fixing a problem all the way down to last place. Sorry, Hamilton. We've allowed his teammate, excuse me, his teammate Timo Glock to close him down right behind the Renault. That's Ricardo. That is for position for me as we move up a spot. And Ricardo's too quick. He had his problem. It backed him up, but he's really not the guy we're racing today. That Renault and that driver are way too fast for us, so no sense battling him and risking our own self-destruction, as we are now 100 seconds behind, and that's pure merit because it is Hamilton with 1 stop, ourselves with 1 stop. Of course, he was on the Ultras to start the race, so faster tire. But I do very much like that with just turning the engine up 1 notch, we are doing just enough to make it difficult for the Mercedes to lap us. That has been a very easy task for them. No blue flags. No blue flags in this league because in this game they are very, very broken. You can get a lap down and then you can unlap yourself. But the moment you unlap yourself, they blue flag you. And it drives me absolutely nuts, those long endurance races that I used to do in this game, not on the channel, but just for my own enjoyment. You get cars multiple laps down, and it just becomes a nightmare trying to get through those races because every little piece of progress you make is negated by these blue flags, and so I turn blue flags off. They do not help anything. At least not in this game. In real life, yeah, I know, Hamilton was probably annoyed. In fact, Glock has been passed by Bottas. My bad. But Bottas heads into the pits. So we're now 17th and 18th. Good little gap between us and the cars around us. Kubica has a pit. Wickens has pit, and Wickens is now in 20th. And we've opened up a bit of a gap. We're 14 seconds, at least Verstappen is 14 seconds ahead of Wickens. And you can see from the tire wear that he will definitely not go the distance. Definitely not going the distance on those tires. Excuse me. Leclerc will pit soon. Glock won't last much longer. Stroll won't last much longer. And Kubica is definitely on the verge. He's the last car out on track that has not pit yet. And it's lap 42 of 65. I think we could be in for some points today. But Ericsson pits, and he's good to go now. Ricardo's good to go. Rosberg's good to go. So Stroll's the one we've got a chance at gaining a position over. Leclerc is too far ahead, so we might not even get into the points at all today. It's possible that we're going to end up in 16th and 17th for this race. That's looking, or maybe even 16th and 18th for this race. I think Stroll might come out between us, or even still ahead of us. And that would leave us right where we're at 17 and 18. Yes, some of the cars will be pitting again, and we're not, but There's Leclerc to the pits now. Wow, he comes out way in front of us. Yeah, the pit delta is really short here. Okay, this is Bottas coming back up to us after his final pit stop. He's only 4 seconds behind Glock as Glock enters the pits, so Bottas will end up well ahead of him. So, it looks like we're going to comfortably beat the Williams on the day, but it does appear that without some sort of help, without some collisions and problems in front of us, I do not think we are going to get either car up into the points. We're going to just miss, and no points means Williams stays ahead, and we lose out. Glock is catching up to Bottas quickly, and he's on the ultra soft, so that really does go to show just how short the pit delta is on this track. Cutting out all those first turns, those first 3 turns coming out on turn 4, really saves a lot of time. Oh! It's a sandwich. They battle for position right around us. Poor Verstappen. I don't want him to be caught up in this, but I also don't want to lose any ground. Stroll pits, comes out ahead. So Leclerc, Stroll, both pitting, both coming out ahead, even though we were fairly close. Ricciardo's pulling away, so he's going the wrong direction. Ericsson is 10 seconds ahead of us. We've stayed close. We've stayed within 10 seconds, but he's just gradually inched that out, maybe a 10th a lap. And then Vern, 10th or 2 per lap, anyway. Meanwhile, Vern has actually closed back up to Verstappen ever so slightly. Now 5.5 seconds behind. He was about 8 seconds behind. So Verstappen's pace is just not quite there. Hamilton leads by 19 seconds, though it's possible he'll stop again. But the delta is what it is, and I think he'll stay out front. Should be cruising towards victory. Right now, one of the best things, the 2 best things to happen, what all I can hope for really at this point is we hold position, we do our thing, stay in 17, 18. In front of us, 1 or 2 or 3 drivers have a problem, crash, collide, pit. And or scrutineering at the end, demoted to last place for breaking the rules. That's what we're going to have to hope for now. We need help. We have the pace. We're ahead of both Wickens and Kubica. Here's Raikkonen pitting, but it, again, comes out ahead of us. He's in 12th. But if you look at the mini-map for a moment, which I know it's going by pretty quickly here on lap 56, you can see that... I need to back off. You can see that as the Ferrari comes by, 2nd and 3rd place, Bottas and Glock, they're not that far ahead of us. We've been battling with them pretty much the entire time since we pit. We came out, they were there, then they pit, dropped back, caught up to us, but they haven't pulled that far in front. So our pace compared to their pace is not atrocious. I mean, if you remember, it was, 30 laps ago that we were 100 seconds behind Hamilton? Hey, it's 126. Okay, so yes, he's pulled away by 26 seconds. And yes, he's had a pit stop. But we've already noted that a pit stop here, very small delta. I mean, you're only losing 6 to 8 seconds. I'm actually tempted with Vern to pit, but we won't gain a bonus. So we might as well just stay out. Alright. Back to this. Back to this. And let's hope something goes our way for these final 2 laps of the season. Hamilton comfortably headed towards the race win. Bottas, Glock, Vettel, Gasly, and Ocon. And we remain right where we're at. Ricardo made his way around Ericsson to get into the last points paying position. And we have closed up to Ericsson. We're now just 3 seconds behind Ericsson. Can we find Ericsson ahead of us? There he is. So just in the final 2 laps, we come back at Ericsson. Can we steal that 1 position to 16th? Can we get 1 or 2 cars demoted? We need 3 points, though. We need 3 points just to tie. I think Verstappen might have the tiebreaker with the Drivers' Championship. Maybe not. No, I think Wickens would. Wickens is ahead of us in points. So maybe we even need 4. Less than 2 seconds behind now. Looks like too little, too late. Yes, we're ending right now. Final stretch, and there it is. We close him down, just 1.2 seconds behind, but it's too little, too late. Vern, good race for him to finish right behind Verstappen in 18th, just 4 seconds back. Vern had an excellent day, really on form for him to stay close throughout the race and never get more than 10 seconds behind his teammate. But it wasn't to be, or so it appears. I don't think there's going to be enough scrutineering to shake enough guys to give us the points we need. It's going to have to be at least 2. 14 and 15 would give us exactly 3. Could it be? Could there be 3 cars that fail scrutineering in the final race of the season? This is the chance. This is that time where a lot of teams run illegal parts. So here's to hoping. I don't think it's going to happen. 10 cars finished on the lead lap. But help me out. Help me out. I don't think it happened. I do not think it happened. It does not. No cars fail scrutineering, at least not at the front. In fact, Ricardo's penalty was the only penalty of the entire day. That is so rare. So rare. Ooh, we did have Wickens beat by 1 point. Kubica did have some points. He has 10 of them, but Vern just 6. So Vern let us down, but I can't say that Vern necessarily let us down with his 6 points. We went with a number 1 car to give it a chance to get into the points, and Max was able to do that on a consistent basis. 55 is a lot of points, but 61 is 3 shy of what we needed to be. Williams, Audi, Alpha stay behind, but that is only 10th place. So that is going to wrap up our season. Unfortunate on that part, and I know that the boss is going to be very unhappy. I don't remember. In the emails, he says you're going to be fired. Satisfaction's at 100%. I think it drops by 40 or 50%, but I don't think it automatically means you're fired. It might. Either way, I'm ending the series. Really, we only came 11th for this race. Williams was the only team we managed to finish ahead of. Finish with a balance of 20 million. Of course, there's going to be a big payday coming here for the end of the season. Alonso wins the F2 championship, and Alpine's coming back up. Sam Bird wins the F3, and Braun GP wins that championship in a close one. Hamilton wins with just 1 DNF, and that 1 DNF was scrutineering. 8 wins, 12 podiums. But it is Ferrari who get the constructors and not Mercedes. They were definitely the quicker car. Vettel was just the better driver. Vettel ends up 2nd in points. Bottas 3rd. But there you go. Thanks for tuning in on Decathlon Gamer. Be sure to check out my other series as we continue. I definitely want to get another racing series on very soon. Of course, I have Pro Cycling Manager, but outside of that, that is now the only one. And not so long ago, I had nearly half of the series on the channel were tied to racing in one form or another. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.